Today, I decided to test my limits, both the resolve of my indomitable human spirit and the limits of my PC, using the greatest mechanic in all Fallout DLCs, cages. I believed this would be a good use of my time and yours, so today we're going to fill Spectacle Island with cows until we are physically unable to continue, becoming the wastelands and maybe the world's greatest cattlemen. After our unbridled success of unnatural proportions by the means of abducting the lowlives and villainy of your local area and outsourcing Commonwealth justice to the Torment Nexus, one may fall down the typical path of a billionaire, lose sight of those they love, invest money into senseless projects, and you may even land yourself on some flight logs after having made some questionable decisions on an unspecified island. You may ask, why do this? Does this bring more money? Will you use the fertilizer to make a chem empire? Absolutely not. We are beyond such petty concepts like wealth and popularity. Plus, we have to have fun playing Fallout 4 somehow. First, an outline of the plan. Create a clear perimeter around Spectacle Island, blockading it off from any reporters and media outlets that may want to catch a glimpse of our activities. Then, stack Brahmin cages in an effort to trigger a mass migration event of the world's cattle population, assuming, that is, they can swim from the mainland all the way over here. I call it the beef blockade. Next, create the necessary infrastructure to maintain the ever-growing number of cows suffering from axial bifurcation.
Axial bifurcation. A developmental anomaly in which a single fertilized egg begins to split into twins, but stops midway, typically resulting in what is known as conjoined twins.
To begin, we need to get started on gathering the materials for the Brahmin cages, which is 16 steel, 4 razor grain, 4 copper, and 4 gears. A lot of these are easy, but for some of these materials we'll have to resort to unconventional means. But for now, pick any large area that you'd like and begin planting some razor grain. If you have any settlers, be sure to put them to work. This looks really bad, but trust me, they're cool with it. Growing lots of razor grain is easy, and I was worried that it would be boring, so I didn't record it. But I got quite a large amount in just an hour or so, producing around 50 razor grain in the workshop, not including what I can pick myself. The only real limit here is how many settlers or robots you can get to farm them. As for steel, the shipments come easily thanks to our recent business endeavor. Very quickly after setting up our farm, we can get started on building the beef blockade around Spectacle Island. Now, it's a good thing that our close friend Mayor McDonough over here is no longer in the picture, as we have a lot of free island real estate to work with. Very easily, we can scrap all the trees and shacks on Spectacle Island, somehow stuffing 13 tons of lumber inside this little metal shack, preparing the island for their arrival. But you know what they say, no one has ever done anything great on their own, and we need a lot of copper. Fortunately for us, there's another wealthy family in the Commonwealth, and they have numerous pre-war lamps and gun crates that respawn every time we leave. But first, the hard part, convincing them to let me in.
I'd really like to come in.
You seem nice enough.
Bro.
Come on, let me in.
You're not gonna give up, are you? Have it your
There's
way.
no way that actually
Doors
works.
unlocked.
What? Using the Cabot's naive nature to our advantage, getting copper and resources becomes very easy. However, it becomes evident that a large obstacle in our strategy is the fact that everything here is marked as owned, and counts as us stealing even though they are clearly in possession of ancient technology that can revert the state of their house to how it was before I was there. Similarly to how Jack Cabot has reversed the state of his body to before his balls dropped.
Are you talking about aliens? UFOs and little green men?
Oh no, that's all popular hysteria.
After only a couple hours of looting, we can get at least 20 Brahmin cages worth of copper. As for the gears, simply sell the portions of the Cabot's loot that we won't be using. After fast traveling back to Sanctuary to get Jack's house to repopulate with lamps, I realized that the last time I played on the save I must have robbed Trashcan Carla at some point. So clearly there's no point in keeping her around since she can't sell me shipments. After sliming out Trashcan Carla, we can begin to manipulate the Cabots to gain their trust once again. However, this time, words are simply not enough. We have to pretend to be good people with our actions, by doing a few odds and ends jobs like killing a bunch of raiders and grabbing a mysterious package for the Cabots. Weird, these guys must have just slipped past me. We return to Edward to let him know what happened to his serum, but we like shiny little objects, so we lie and say they must have used it all. For some reason, they still don't trust me with all their household belongings, and I begin throwing their science equipment across the room in a blind rage. At this point, we have to free Imogene Cabot from these cultists, which honestly, I gotta give it to them. They do a good job at brainwashing their subjects. Gotta take notes on this. Unfortunately, their only downfall is that their faction apparel is a strictly formal dress code, which means no energy resistance. After this, we can now take all of the lamps, cameras, and crates full of weapons and ammo, and use it to produce the materials for our Kine campaign.
Kine, an archaic noun meaning cows, collectively.
As of right now, we have only a mere fraction of the cages compared to what this monstrosity will evolve to have. Make sure to connect them all together and hook them up to a lever so you can activate them all at once. For some reason, I thought that we were going to need a ton of generators for all of these cages, but it turns out all you need is just power going through all of them. Even a small generator that can't power a single water purifier is enough to power 200 plus multiple ton crates meant to hold 1,000 pound farm animals.
That makes sense to me.
However, I want to get a more hefty sample size before releasing these bicephalous critters into a life of uncertainty and likely lethal entity cramming. During the looting session, we make an incredible breakthrough. A moment of no return. A Brahmin cosplay. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Magnificent. Now, it's time for the first round of the Brahminator. A culmination of 50 Brahmin cages, I think, I wasn't really counting, holding back the anger of 1,000 pounds and 200 years of irradiated Taurus genes. See, they just sort of stand there. Okay, this guy's jumping down. Oh, yes. Yes! Oh, this guy's definitely gonna drown. Oh yeah, and we got the Brahmin on the roof. How Fallout is that, bro? While the numbers now may be small, my persistence as cattle rancher, a shepherd, and a father will prove victorious. You see, these Brahmin, they see me little as a man, rather, one of their own. As you see, I'm pink as well, and I too smell of feces. Next, I spent a few hours looting the Cabot house over and over again, as well as expanding out the platform to give more room for the Brahmin to spawn on. This gives us a ton of XP, as with Idiot Savant, it's almost like shelf spamming, except our efforts are actually going towards a megastructure of the bovine kind.
Bovine. Adjective relating to or affecting cattle.
I can't help but think this perk is just Bethesda's way of making fun of me for playing the game this way. The loop of building this monstrosity goes like this. Build around 15 Brahmin cages, harvest razor grain, run into the Cabot house, steal all their stuff, sell all their stuff to buy gear, steel, and copper, and then go back to building more cages. For reference, the two most accessible vendors that sell gear shipments are Arturo in Diamond City, and Rufus, my man, in Good Neighbor. And I just want to say, this guy is so chill. He's not trying to sell you anything like Arturo. He's just like, hey man, good to see you. What you want to buy? Anyway, although we only have about 50 Brahmin so far, they're already finding their own ways to have fun. Turns out releasing cows onto a completely empty island will result in them throwing each other 1,000 feet into the air to kill each other. This is going great. I tried placing some feeding troughs throughout the island just to spread them out a bit since Brahmin like to congregate around the troughs, and it sort of worked. They still only like to sit around the same 3 places, and some of the troughs were just left completely unattended. All in all, we're still making good progress. Unlike other entities, Brahmin do not abide by the laws of physics. They will chill out on the roof, and they will lay down midair. You simply cannot contain these beasts. Now that we've got a decent amount of cages, the repairing costs are getting fairly demanding. With around 50 Brahmin cages, we need 2 shipments of gears, which are expensive to say the least. This translates to at least 1 Cabot house run for each shipment. Does this mean I have an ingenious plan to increase the efficiency of our resource gathering? No. It means we're going to spend hours robbing the Cabot house, which isn't actually that bad because Jack is putting in some serious work. He invents the Zeta gun literally every time I steal it. So far he's made it from scratch about 35 times. Look at this wall so far. We're just a little over halfway done. I always think about this every time that I sleep in game. I wonder what the settlers think when the founder of their current residence is sleeping for 72 hours straight, only to leave his bed to check on the cages meant to capture cows, and if they aren't full, he goes back to sleep for another 72 hours. They must be treading lightly because this man is clearly unstable. Also, side note, there's this bug that prevents the Brahmin from being able to leave their cages. The cause of this is beyond me, but the only thing I figured out that solves it is either just waiting long enough, or you can just hit them. But this glitch sets us back, unfortunately, because we can't repair the cages until the Brahmin leave. On the bright side, we finished the first layer of the Brahmin wall, meaning we have around 150 Brahmin cages. Our wall is so huge that from one side of the island, the other cages don't spawn in, so every round of releasing Brahmin, we basically have to circle the island at least one time. Another bug I encountered, which is arguably worse than the Brahmin getting stuck in their animation, is this glitch where they fail to spawn in the first place. At first, I was devastated. I thought there was going to be a limit to how many I could spawn from cages, and made me worried that I had wasted so much time gathering the resources for them. But then I found out you just gotta give them a sec, and then they spawn in, they're all good. About halfway through constructing the second layer, I decided to make a home base of sorts. A platform to host the amenities of Spectacle Island, a shop for trading items, and a junk mortar to launch the cows in case I get bored. I then woke up to a strange sound that I am 90% sure is not my alarm clock. I turned around to find out it indeed was not an alarm clock, but a cow descended from the heavens, just to die on hardwood flooring. I wanted this build to be cow-themed, so I used the only settlement object I could think of, the milk machine. So I built a wall around the platform using them. Amazing. It was at this point I started to get tired of Dogmeat as a follower. As much as I appreciate his moral indifference to any atrocity I care to commit, I need someone a bit more enthusiastic about our very specific endeavor. So we make our way up to Trinity Tower, not to rescue the man trapped at the top, but to rescue Strong, a super mutant who has dedicated his life to finding the milk of human kindness. While there will be milk involved, kindness will be completely void from his indentured servitude. Running up to the top of the tower, we fight multiple super mutants, one of which tries to take me out by lunging down the stairs. Regardless, we successfully rescue Strong, without grabbing the bobblehead. Me and Strong's relationship at this point is complicated. He absolutely adores the cow-infested island, but he sees me as weak and loves to interrupt me when I ask how he's feeling.
What are your
Strong
thoughts on our
think human
relationship?
is okay, leader. Not best, not worst. Tastes like dirt.
So I then launch him out of the junk mortar because I'm bored. Afterwards, I add some finishing touches to the milk tower, a lounge area, a recruitment beacon, some turrets, signage, and then I add some milk dispensers to the island in case the cows get hungry. I then launch Strong from the junk mortar once more. I make a batch of jet and I try to use it all at once. Strong does not like this. I go through and repair all the cages while I prepare the resources for more new cages. Our goal is to have 2 layers wrap all the way around Spectacle Island, and as of right now, we only have 1. So we start building the second one. This took a while, and I can't lie, most of this footage is very boring. But if that's your thing, try to tune into my live streams every once in a while. Most of the time it's just tedious work where I chat with a couple viewers, and it would be great to have some more people in there as well. We've gotten to the point where we have completed the wall, and all we have to do is repair all of the cages with every wave of Brahmin. So we deck out Strong with some armor to prepare him for the incoming wave of cattle. This island is becoming so populated with Brahmin that many of them are beginning to float away, trying to escape the island. Sorry fellas, that's not how this plays out. Keep in mind, we have about 250 cages now, so only 4 rounds of this totals to 1,000 Brahmin. For reference, this is the scale we're at now. Yes, it's a lot, and yes, my PC is begging me to stop. It was at this point chaos had ensued. All of my plans and methods became so ineffective with the amount of lag, I had to resort to mods and commands. Our output is so insanely massive and so insanely laggy that half of the Brahmin just will not spawn anymore. At this point, I literally had to install a mod that skips the animation for cages and auto repairs them, because I literally could not repair the cages if I wanted to. Once I got to the point where even the mods stopped being helpful, I resorted to console commands. But before you complain, I got this far doing it legit, and I cannot stop spawning Brahmins simply because the game won't let me. That's not how this channel works. I began spawning Brahmin by the hundreds, which was not an ample strategy, as I only got 200 in before my game crashes. Oh, it crashed. But we aren't finished yet. I spawned them in by the 50s. We squeeze out a couple hundred more. The game crashes. Okay. Then we go by 10. The game crashes. It now takes an entire 5 seconds to save my game. Finally, we have our game holding on to dear life, as merely disturbing the Brahmin in any way crashes our game. Looking at them wrong crashes our game. I decided the only appropriate way to end this is by going out with a bang and destroying the island and my PC at the same time.